Good day everyone, hope you're well. In this video we are going to discuss activity 4, memo discussion. It's part of our revision activities in the beginning of lockdown. Right, let's get to it. So, question. Naidoo traders and the owners J. Naidoo started a clothing store on the 1st of March 2016 and purchased and sells clothing. Prepare the following for March 2016: a cash receipts journal, 2. a cash payments journal, 3. do transaction analysis for days 1, 4, 5, 8 and 29. That's the accounting equation. And then 4. post the CRJ and the CPJ of Naidoo traders to the general ledger. Balance the accounts at the end of the month. Prepare trial balance on the 31st of March 2016. Very importantly, this business uses a markup of 33 1/3% on cost, or 33.33% on cost, which means our selling price will be 133.33%. How did I get it? Remember, cost price is always 100% plus your profit markup will equal your selling price. So 100 plus 33.33 will equal 133.33% for selling price. Right, here's our transactions and our journals. Let's get started with recording our transactions. So transactions for March 2016. The owner deposits 280,000 Rand as capital contribution in the business's current bank account. Issued receipt 001. Right, so very importantly, it's a direct deposit into the business's bank account. Once again, we always look at this from the business perspective, not the owner. And the business issued receipt 001. It took place on the 1st. Who did we receive money from? From J. Naidoo. Analysis of receipts will stay empty. Remember, it's a direct transfer into our bank account. Therefore, it will appear directly into our bank account. We did not receive this money because of sales. Therefore, we need to take it to sundry accounts, other transactions. These are the accounts that most often occur or are used in our business, and if it's not one that's used that often, we take it to the sundry, or we record it in our sundry accounts. Okay, details will be capital. Whenever the owner deposits money or puts money into the business, it will be recorded as capital. Right, second transaction. Issued check 001 to the City Council for the trade license, 3,400 Rand. So we paid money in this instance. So we will go to the cash payment journal and record this transaction. Check counterfoil 001. It took place on the 2nd. Name of payee, who are we paying this money to? To the city council. An amount of 3,400 Rand. It's not for trading stock, not for equipment, not wages, so we need to record it in sundry accounts, which means other accounts. Right, trading license. Right, next transaction. Next transaction took place on the 4th. Purchase display cabinets and shelf from Fouchier Traders and pay with check 002, 24,800 Rand. Right, so check counterfoil 002 took place on the 4th. We paid money to Fouchier Traders, and the amount which will be deducted from our bank account, 24,800 Rand. It is not for trading stock, it is For equipment though, remember it's equipment that I will use in my business to produce income. Next transaction took place on the 5th. Purchase goods from RSA traders and pay with check 003 38,200 Rand. Goods will be known as trading stock. They use a few words for trading stock. It's either trading stock, goods, or merchandise, which they most often use. Different words, but will all go to the same account. Right, so check counterfoil 003. This took place on the 5th. We paid money to RSA traders, an amount of 38,200 Rand for trading stock. 38,200 Rand. We're done with that transaction. Next one. Right, on the 7th, issued check 004 to man traders for the following: cash register and a cash register roll. So very importantly, two different items at the same place with one check. So this will be one payment, one check. Check counterfoil 004. This took place on the 7th from man traders. You just type right capital letters, man traders. Right, and the amount that we are paying them will be 6,414 Rand. It's the total of both transactions, of which 6,200 for the cash register will be classified as equipment, and the remaining balance 214 Rand will be classified as stationery. Right, next transaction. Next transaction also took place on the 7th, still on the same day. Cash or cash check 005 for wages, 640 Rand. So new check, but still the same day. Check counterfoil 005 took place on the 7th, so I'm not going to write the day again. They did not give us a name to who we are paying, therefore it's just cash. The amount that we were paying 640 Rand, reason being wages. Next transaction took place on the 8th. Right, next transaction took place on the 8th. Cash sales of merchandise 24,000 Rand. So we received money, and this will be recorded in our cash received journal. Cash register roll. This took place on the 8th. They did not tell us who we received money from, therefore just sales. There's a reason that we received money. Remember, the amount that we received was 24,000 Rand. Okay, 24,000 Rand will reflect in my bank account at the end of the day. Reason being we had sales. Now we need to calculate cost of sales. Let's quickly calculate it right here next to our transaction. First of all, we will take our 24,000 Rand. We will divide it by our selling price percentage. Remember, how did I get to this? Cost price is always 100%, and in this activity, profit margin is 33.33%. The two together will equal my selling price percentage, 133.33. Then I will multiply by what I need, cost price percentage. That's my amount, and then this should equal an amount of 18,000 Rand. Cost price 18,000 Rand. Let's go and account for it. 18,000 Rand. Alright. Next transaction took place on the 9th. Cash or cash check 006 for cash float 800 Rand. Alright, let's go and record that. So we are paying money, we are taking money out of our bank account to put it into our cash float. This is where we get change to give to customers that buy from or on cash or with cash. Right, so details will be cash whenever you pay money into your cash float. The amount was 800 Rand, not for trading stock, not for equipment, not for wages. Therefore, we need to take it to our sundry account, details being cash float. Alright, next transaction took place on the 14th. Paid check 007 to SA Repairs for 1,900 for repairs on the owner's private vehicle. Private vehicle, that word is very important. It's not for the business, it's private. Therefore, it will be drawings. Alright, so check counterfoil 007. It took place on the 14th. Who did we pay the money to? We paid it to SA Repairs. Sorry, my bad. Repairs, and then the amount that we paid them was 1,900 Rand. Not for trading stock, not for equipment, not for wages, but for drawings. It is repairs, but remember, for private purposes, therefore drawings. Right. Next transaction took place on the 15th. Purchase a delivery vehicle from West Park Motors and pay with check 008 125,000 Rand. Right, so check counterfoil 008. This took place on the 15th. Who did we pay this money to? West Park Motors. An amount of 125,000 Rand, and this was for vehicles. Right. Next transaction took place on the 17th. Cash a cash check 009 for wages. Alright, so check counterfoil 009. It took place on the 17th. Details will be cash. The amount will be 680 Rand. Wages 680 Rand. Next transaction took place on the 18th. Cash sales according to the cash register roll 18,800. We need to calculate cost price, so 18,800 divide by my selling price percentage, multiply by my cost price percentage will equal my cost price in Rand. Okay, so let's quickly calculate that. Should give you an amount of 14,100 Rand. Right, let's go and fill that in. Cash register roll. It took place on the 18th. Details will be sales. The amount was 18,800 Rand. It will reflect in my bank account at the end of the day. The reason I received this money is because I had sales, and my cost of sales was 14,100 Rand. I bought trading stock to the value of 14,100 and I sold it to the value of 18,800. Difference between the two will be my profit. Next transaction took place on the 20th. Pay with check 010 to Shoe Outfitters for goods purchased 22,200. Goods, remember, is trading stock. So let's go and fill that in. Check counterfoil 010. This took place on the 20th. Details will be Shoe Outfitters. Right, and the amount that we paid to them was 22,200 Rand for trading stock. Done. Okay, next transaction took place also on the 20th. Pay with check 011 to Tip Top Properties for rent for the building, 6,200 Rand. So check counterfoil 011. on the same day, so I'm not going to fill in the date again. And I paid money to tip, top, properties, an amount of 6,200 Rand for rent expense. Rent expense. Next transaction took place on the 23rd. Pay the monthly telephone account to Telkom for 1,890 Rand with check 012. We are paying money. Let's go and fill that in my cash payments journal. 012. This took place on the 23rd, and I paid this money to Telkom, an amount of 1,890 Rand, and that was for the telephone bill. Very importantly, this is just for the telephone bill, not for the actual telephone. The actual telephone will be an asset account. Right, so telephone. Next transaction took place on the 25th. A cash check 013 for wages, and the amount was 690 Rand. So check counterfoil 013. This took place on the 25th. Details will be cash. The bank amount will be 690 Rand. Details being cash or wages, sorry. Right, so the reason that the details is cash and you don't have the name of the employee you're paying is because wages most often are an informal way of payment, not necessary to have the person's name who you're paying. Right. Okay, so next transaction took place on the 27th. Cash sales according to the cash register rule, 21,400 Rand. So we need to calculate our cost price. So selling price divided by selling price percentage multiplied by cost price percentage will equal my cost price. And if you calculate that, you should get an amount of 16,050 Rand. Let's go and fill that in. Right, so cash register rule. This took place on the 27th. Details will be sales. Analysis of receipts. I received 21,400 Rand. It will reflect in my bank account at the end of the day. The reason that I received this money is for sales. Cost of sales was 16,050 Rand. Right. The next transaction took place on the 29th. Pay by check 014 to Speed Insurance for the monthly insurance premium 830. Right, so check counterfoil 014. This took place on the 29th, and we paid this money to Speed Insurance, an amount of 830 Rand. 830 Rand for insurance, so it will go to sundry accounts. They did not provide a column for it. Insurance, right. Next transaction took place on the 30th. Pay Espele as his monthly salary, 8,380 Rand with check 015. So check counterfoil 015. This took place on the 30th. Who are we paying this money to? To Espele, an amount of 8,380 Rand. That did not provide a column for salaries, therefore we're going to take it to sundry accounts, 8,380 Rand, and it will go to the salaries. account. You might be tempted to put it under the wages column, but you can't remember wages informal, salaries formal. That's why for salaries we had the employee's name, and whenever you had wages you did not have the employee's name. Okay, let's quickly total our cash receipts journals columns. If you total the bank column, you should get an amount of 344,200 rand. If you total the sales column, you should get an amount of 64,200 rand. If you total cost of sales, you should get 48,150. Sundry accounts easy, 280,000 rand. If you total your sales and your sundry accounts together, you should get the total of your bank. Bank will be debited because it's increasing. This will be your credits. Okay, sales and your capital. Then let's quickly total my cash payment journal. If you total bank, you will get an amount of 242,000 rand and 24. If you total trading stock, you will get 60,400. If you total equipment, you should get an amount of 31,000 rand. If you total wages, you will get 2,010 rand. If you total your sundry account, you will get 148,000 rand 614. Right, so if you add all of this together, you will get this amount, the total of your bank. Your bank will be the credit, everything else will be your debits. Alright, next we need to do the transactions analysis. Okay, accounting equation. Let's quickly do this one. So on the first, let's go to that transaction again. On the first, the owner deposits 280,000 rand as capital contribution in the business's current bank account. Issued receipt 001. Let's go and do the accounting equation of this one. Right, so the source document was a duplicate receipt or just a receipt. That did give us a number 001. It's not necessary to put that in there. My bank will increase in the debit side. Bank is classified as assets, therefore my assets will increase with 280,000 rand, the amount of capital. My capital is an owner's equity account. Owner's equity, it will always have a positive influence on my owner's equity. There you go. Okay, done with that transaction. Okay, on the fourth, let's go and have a look at that transaction on the fourth. Purchase display cabinets and shelves from Foucher Traders and pay with check 002 24,800 rand. Right, on the fourth, our source document was a check counterfoil. My equipment will be debited. It's an asset account. It will increase. But remember, I'm purchasing more equipment to the value of 24,800 rand. Unfortunately, I need to get this money from somewhere. I'm going to take it out of my bank account, and therefore my bank account will decrease with the same amount. Just one thing to test whether you are doing this correctly or not. The accounting equation states that assets equals owner's equity plus your liabilities. So in this case, 280,000 rand equals 280,000 rand plus 0. Therefore, we've done this one correctly. 24,000 rand minus 24,800 rand equals 0 plus 0. We've done it correctly. Right, then on the fifth. Purchase goods from RSA traders and pay with check 003, 38,200 Rand. Let's go and fill that in quickly. Right, on the 5th, source document will be my check counterfoil. My trading stock will be debited. Trading stock is classified as an asset, therefore my assets will increase with that amount, which was 38,200 Rand. I need to get the money from somewhere. I'm going to get it out of my bank. My bank account, also classified as an asset, will decrease with the same amount, 38,200 Rand. Once again, plus 38,200 minus 38,200 will equal 0 plus 0. Therefore, I've done it correctly. Right, so on the 8th, let's go and have a look at that transaction. Cash sales of merchandise, 24,000 Rand, and my cost of sales was 18,000 Rand. Let's go and account for this one. My source document was the cash register roll. Right, so my bank will increase because I am selling products to, and bank is classified as an asset. Therefore, my asset will increase with the amount of my sales, 24,000 Rand. Why did my bank increase? Because I had sales, and sales is classified as income, and income will always have a positive influence on owner's equity. Always. Right. To have sales, I'm also unfortunately going to have costs of sales. That's how it works in a trading business. You need to purchase the stuff that you want to sell. Cost of sales is an expense account, and expenses will always have a negative influence on my owner's equity. Quickly undo this automatic. Right, 18,000 Rand. And my trading stock will decrease because remember I saw that the customer's taking it home. Trading stock is classified as an asset, therefore my asset will decrease with my 18,000 Rand, which I calculated. There you are done with that transaction. You can see this as two separate transactions or as one, but 24,000 will equal 24,000 plus 0, that one's correct, minus 18,000 will equal minus 18,000 plus 0, that one is correct as well. Then on the 29th, we pay by check 014 to Speed Insurance for the monthly insurance premium of 830 Rand. That one will look as follows. The source document was a check counterfoil. Again, my account being debit will be my insurance, and remember, insurance is an expense account, and expenses will always have a negative influence on my owner's equity. And then I need to get this money from somewhere, from my bank account. My bank is classified as an asset, therefore my assets will also decrease with 830 Rand. Now minus 830 Rand will equal minus 830 Rand plus 0, therefore this one is done correctly as well. Next we are going to do the general ledger of Naidoo traders. First we're going to do the balance sheet account section, and then of course our nominal account section as well. So the first account that we are going to do will be our capital account. Now remember, the capital account is classified as an owner's equity account, and this will have a positive influence on owner's equity. By definition, capital is money that we receive from the owner, so we can go straight to the cash receipts journal. We don't even have to look at the cash payment journal, and there I found it in our sundry accounts. Capital 280,000 Rand on the 1st. We received this money from the owner, J. Naidoo. Right, so let's go and fill that or post that to my capital account. 280,000 rand. Right, where did I get this information from? From my cash receipt journal. Did they give us a number for the journals? CPJ1 and CRJ1 as well. There, CRJ1. Right, so I'm going to put the number in here. In this case, the 1 does not mean anything. Normally, it will go according to the month. In this case, it is for June. Wait, here's a mistake. It should be for March. Sorry, my bad. Right, so March. Right, so normally it should be 3 because March is the 3rd month of the year. But so in this case, this 1 doesn't mean anything. Right, so my details will be bank. It will be, remember the specific day was the 1st, 2006 and March. Now, basically what this means is my capital is being credited. If I want to find my debit, where do I need to go and have a look? In my bank account. Okay, right, now drawings. Drawings is the complete opposite of capital. This is whenever the owner takes money out of my business. So I don't have to go and have a look at my cash receipt journal. I can go straight to my cash payment journal. Right, so yes, I found it. Drawings, 1,900 rand, and it took place on the 14th. Now drawings will have a negative influence on my owner's equity, and it will increase in my debit side. Right, so the amount of drawings was 1,900 rand. Where did I get this information from? From my CPJ1. My details will be bank. This took place on the 14th, 2006 and March. Right, I'm just going to put the first 3 letters. Right, so drawings is being debited. If I want to find my credit, where do I need to go and have a look? In my bank account. Okay, next one, vehicles. So this far we did not teach you when we, or how it will be recorded when we sell vehicles, so you don't have to go and have a look in your cash receipts journal. You will go straight to your cash payment journal. This far you only know how to purchase a vehicle, right, or how to record it. So there, I found it, 125,000 rand on the 15th. Right, so let's go and record that one. Vehicles is an asset account, and the signs for asset plus minus will increase in the debit side. Right, so the amount it will increase with was 125,000 rand. Where did I get this information from? From my CPJ1. My details will be bank. This took place on the 31st. And then 2006 and March. I want to make sure about the date. Vehicles took place on the 15th. Right, then equipment, also an asset account, will work exactly the same. Plus and a minus, right? So equipment, same as with vehicles, you only know how to purchase equipment currently. Now, very importantly, this is a total of a column. Whenever you use the total of a column, you will use the very last of the month, and that is to include all of the transactions that took place throughout the whole month. Okay, so equipment will increase with 31,000 rand. Where did I get this information from? From my CPJ1. My details will be bank. I remember last day of the month, 31st. And 2006 and March. Right. Then trading stock. In this case it's going to be a bit more difficult since I purchased trading stock and I sold trading stock. So it's going to increase and decrease. It's also an asset account, therefore plus minus, increase debit side, decrease a credit side. So trading stock. I purchased trading stock to the value of 60,400 Rand. It's a total of a column, therefore last of the month. So my trading stock increased with 60,400 Rand. Right, to the value of, where did I get this information from? CPJ1, and my details will be bank. This took place, remember, last of the month because it's a total of a column, 2006 and March. Also, I purchased or I sold some trading stock to the value of, remember, my cost of sales, essentially what I bought my trading stock for originally, 48,150 Rand. So my trading stock will decrease with this amount. Reason being, I had cost of sales. Right, 48,150 Rand. So trading stock decrease 48,150 Rand. Where did I get this information from? Cash received journal number 1. My details will be cost of sales, total of a column, so therefore 31st, 2006 and March. Now remember, my trading stock has been credited. Where will I find my debit? In my cost of sales column or account. Right, we are done with trading stock. Now let's do bank. Bank's going to work exactly the same. Remember, it's an asset, therefore the signs will be plus, minus. Okay, so it will increase in the debit side, decrease in the credit side. I received some money and I also spent some money. Bank. Cash payment journal, I spent 242,024 Rand. So my bank will decrease with that amount. So 242,000 Rand and 242,024 Rand. I got this information from my CPJ1. My details will be total payments or sundry accounts. So something did not look right. There we go. Right, so total payments. This took place last of the month because it's a total of a column, 2006 and March. Alright, so we also received money because of various reasons. Sorry, before I continue. My details here, total payment. Why total payment? Why not a specific account? Let me show you. We paid 242,024 Rand for various reasons. For trading stock, for equipment, for wages, and all of these various reasons. And we don't have enough space in this small space to put all of those accounts, so therefore we just say total payments. Hope that makes sense. Same as with total receipts. We received 344,200 Rand because we had sales and because we received capital. Right, so 344,200 Rand, total of a column, therefore need to use the very last day of the month. So 344,000 Rand and 200 Rand. Reason, where did I get this information? Cash received journal number 1. Details will be total receipts. Okay, right, this took place on the 31st, last of the month, because it's a total of a column. There you go. Right, so we are done with bank for now. Cash flow, also an asset account. So therefore the signs will be plus, minus. Cash flow, currently we are only accounting for when you pay money into your cash flow. So you don't even have to go to your cash receipts journal. You're going to pay money out of your bank account into the cash flow. So 800 Rand on the 9th. your cash flow will increase and your bank account will decrease. So 800. Where did I get this information from? From my cash payment journal number 1. Details will be bank. It's not a total of a column. I need to use the specific date. It took place on the 9th of 2006 March. Right, so cash float is being debited. If I want to go and have a look for my credit, I'll find it in my bank account. In other words, this 80 or 800 Rand will form part of my 242,024 Rand. Right. Okay, so nominal account section. Sales is an income and the signs for income is minus, plus. Right, so sales. Let's go and have a look at my total. Sales cash receipts journal 64,200 Rand. Let's go and fill that in. So sales 64,200 Rand. Where did I get this information from? Cash received journal number 1. My details will be bank. Sales is being credited. I'll find my debit in my bank account. In other words, 64,200 is my credit. This will form part of that 344,200 that I've received. Total of a column, therefore last of a month and 2006 and March. Cost of sales. I'll find it right next to my sales column in my cash received journal, 48,150 Rand. So let's go and fill that in. Cost of sales is an expense account, and an expense account is plus minus. So there we go. My total cost of sales was 48,150 Rand. Where did I get this information from? Cash received journal 1. Details will be trading stock, took place on the 31st because it's a total of a column, 2006 March. Right, so cost of sales is being debited with 48,150 Rand. If I want to find my credit, I need to go and have a look in trading stock. Let's go to trading stock just to show you an example. There's my credit. Okay. Trading stock has been credited. If I want to find my debit, you need to go and have a look in your cost of sales. It's the one I just did. There you go. Right, every debit has a credit. Next one that we are going to do will be my wages. Wages is a payment, so wages, total for a column, 2,010 Rand. Let's go and fill that into my wages. Remember, wages is an expense account, therefore expenses will be plus minus. So wages 2,010 Rand. Where did I get the information from? CPJ1. Details will be bank. Okay. Total of a column, therefore 31st 2006 March. Next one, trading license. It was an expense. Let's go and have a look for trading license. It took place on the 2nd, 3,400 Rand on the 2nd to City Council. Trading license is also an expense account, therefore the signs will also be plus, minus. Expenses will have a negative influence on my owner's equity. Remember what I told you when we did the accounting equation. Where did I get this information from? CPJ1. Details will be bank. Took place on the 31st 2006 March. Stationery, also an expense. Remember, you use your stationery and then you throw it away at the end of the day. So there's stationery. I can't see any other stationeries of 214 Rand on the 7th. Let's go and fill that in. Stationery, also an expense account, therefore plus, minus 214 Rand. I got this information from my CPJ1. Details will be my bank account. I need to use the specific day. It was the 7th because it's not a total of a column. There you go. Rent expense, it's in the name, it's an expense. Let's go and have a look at my rent expense. Rent expense, there you go. 6,200 Rand on the 20th. Alright, let's go and fill that in. Rent expense, so therefore plus, minus 6,200 Rand. Where did I get this information from? CPJ1. Details will be bank. Took place on the 20th, 2006 and March. Next one, telephone. Remember, just the telephone bill. Therefore, it's an expense. 1,890 Rand on the 23rd. Alright, let's go and fill that in. Expenses is plus minus. Done a few of this now already. Right, telephone bill was 1,890 Rand. I got the information from my CPJ1. Details will be bank. This took place on the 23rd. My details 2006 and March. Next one, insurance and then salaries. I'm going to do the two together. Right, insurance and salaries. 830 Rand for insurance, 8,380 Rand for salaries, and they took place on the 29th and on the 30th. Okay, let's go and fill them in. Both of these are classified as expenses, therefore plus, minus, salaries, plus, minus. Right, insurance was 830 Rand. Got it from my CPJ1. Details will be my bank account. Insurance took place on the 29th of 2006 in March. Right, salaries was 8,380 Rand. Took place. Also, I got the information from my CPJ1. Details will be bank. Took place on the 30th, 2006 March. Right, so we are done posting from the journals. Now we need to balance and total our general ledger. So I'm going to run through this and to explain how I'm doing it as I'm doing it. First of all, my capital asset or owner's equity account, I need to decide which side is the larger side. Very easy to see. I can see that my credit side is way bigger than my debit side. I need 280,000 Rand to balance the two sides. Therefore, I did a calculation and it will be carried down. Details will be balance. Okay. And I will always do this last day of the month to include all of the transactions that took place during the month. Right, so now I will total both sides. I will see that both sides will equal 280,000 Rand. Therefore, I've done it correctly. My new opening balance will be 280,000 Rand. Opening balance folio is always brought down. Details will be balance. First day of the new month, which will be April. I'm still in the same year, so I'm not going to write the year again. Okay, we should technically have lines here. I'll just show you. Where am I now? Should technically look something like this. just to show you, I'm just going to do the first one so you don't get confused with all the others. It's going to take a lot of time if I need to do this every time, but that's how it will look in your textbooks. Okay, right, next one. Drawings, also an owner's equity account. It will have a negative influence on the owner's equity though, but I can see my debit side is way larger than my credit side. I need 1,900 to balance the two sides. That was the calculation. Carry down. Remember, calculation starts with a C, so does carry down. Details will be balance. It can't be in a name of an account since this is not a transaction. It's only a calculation of the difference between the two sides. And you'll always do this calculation last of the month. Now we'll total both sides just to confirm that I've done it correctly. If they are the same, total at both sides, then I know I've done it correctly. My new opening balance first of the new month will be 1,900 Rand. 1st of April. There you go. Vehicles. Vehicles is much bigger than debit side is much bigger than my credit side. In actual fact, I need 125,000 Rand to balance the vehicle account. It was a calculation, therefore carried down. Details will be balanced since it's not a transaction. This took place last of the month, 2006 and March. Okay, I will total both of my sides just to confirm I've done it correctly. Both sides will equal 125,000 Rand, therefore I've done it correctly. My new opening balance for the first day of the new month will be 125,000 Rand. Details will be balance. Took place on the 1st, and this will be April. So my new opening balance for the 1st of April for vehicles, 125,000 Rand. Equipment, exactly the same. I need 31,000 Rand in my smaller side to make them balance. Carry down, details will be balance. Okay, always last day of the month, 2006 and took place in March. Total both sides just to confirm that you've done it correctly. There we go. My new opening balance will be 31,000 Rand. Opening balance value is always brought down. Details will be balanced. And this will always be 1st of the next month, April. Right, trading stock will be a bit more complicated since I purchased and I sold some trading stock. So it will look like this. First of all, you need to see which side is the larger side. My debit side is larger than my credit side, and I need to calculate by how much. So I'm going to take 60,400 minus 48,150 Rand. You will get an answer of 12,250 Rand. That was a calculation, therefore carried down. Details will be balanced. Right, okay, now I'm going to do, remember, last of the month, I'm not going to fill it in again. So, now, let's total both sides just to confirm that I've done it correctly, 60,400. If I total this side, you should also get to 60,400 Rand. My new opening balance for the 1st of April will be 12,500 Rand. It's an opening balance brought down. Details will be balanced since it's not a transaction. 1st day of April. Okay, so essentially what you've done here by calculating the difference between the two sides, you just calculated your new opening balance. Oopsie. Right, there you go, new opening balance. Okay, I bought trading stock to the value of 60,400 and I sold trading stock to the value of 48,150, which means I should have 12,250 left. That's all that I did here, calculated the difference. Therefore it means I will start 1st of April with trading stock to the value of 12,250. Then I will buy a bit, then I will sell a bit, and then the 1st of June 1st of May, sorry, I will start with a new opening balance. Right, bang, I'm going to do exactly the same. I can see my debit side is larger than my credit side. Now I need to calculate by how much. I'm going to take 344,200 Rand and I am going to deduct 242,024 Rand, and you should get an amount of 102,000 Rand and 276. Yeah, that was a calculation, therefore carried down. Details will be balance. Last day of the month already fall in there, so I'm not going to write it again. Let's total both sides just to confirm I've done it correctly. So if you total debit and credit side, you should get 344,200 Rand. What I've done here, essentially, I just calculated the difference between the two sides. Now I know I will start the 1st of April with 102,176 Rand in my bank. Okay, so brought it down, balance, 1st day of April. Cash float. Okay, so easy, debit side is larger than my credit side by 800 Rand. This was the calculation. Details will be balance. Last of the month. There you go. Right, so I'm going to total both sides just to make sure I've done it correctly. 800 debit and credit side. Easy, easy. New opening balance 800 Rand. Details of balance. Date will be 1st of April. There you go. Okay, so now nominal account section. There's a rule: if the one side's empty, you are allowed to only total. So this is going to go very easy. 64,200. There you go. Done with sales. Cost of sales. One side's empty, therefore I'm allowed to only total. Remember, you can only do this in your nominal account section. Wages. Done. Trading license. Done. Stationery. Done. Rent expense. One side's empty, therefore done. Telephone. One side's empty, therefore done. Insurance. Done. And then salaries. Done. Right. Now we need to fill in our trial balance. Okay, so this is super easy. I'll quickly show you how to do this. Trial balance is just a summary of your general ledger in essence. So I'm going to take all of my balances and I'm going to fill it in there. So balance sheet section is all of your assets, owner's equity and liability accounts, and your nominal account section, income and expenses. So capital, my first one, B1. I had a credit balance of 280,000 Rand. Remember, this is an opening balance of April. Now, your closing balance of 1 month will equal the opening balance of the very next month. So this means my opening balance for April is 280,000, which means my closing balance for March must have been the same. Okay, so let's go and fill our closing balances for March. Right, so first of all, we're going to start with capital. Capital B1, and the amount was 280,000 Rand. Now we're going to do drawings. Drawings had a debit balance of 1,900. Okay. Drawings was B2, debit balance of 1,900 Rand. Right, B3. Vehicles had a debit balance of 125,000 Rand. Let's go and fill that in quickly. So I'm going to do this for each one of my general ledger accounts. I'm not going to show you each one since I've already showed you, but in essence that is what I'm going to do. Just one more B4. Right, so B4 equipment, debit balance 31,000 Rand. Okay, so let's quickly fill it in. B4, and the amount was 31,000 Rand. So you can go and do this for each one. I'm quickly going to fill in the rest. Equipment, next one that we've done would have been trading stock. Trading stock was B5, and trading stock's an asset, will have a debit balance. Remember, we said that we're going to start 1st of April with 12,250 Rand. Then we will have bank. We will start 1st of April with 102,000 Rand in the bank account. Then we had cash float as well. Cash float will be B7. Balance sheet section account number 7, and that was 800 Rand. Now nominal account section, exactly the same. First will be sales, that was nominal account section account number 1. We had a credit balance of 64,200, or should I rather say a credit total. Then cost of sales N2, it was a debit balance of 48,150 Rand. Then we had wages N3, 2,010 Rand. Then we had trading license, type of bad. N4, it's an expense account, 3,400 Rand. After trading license we had stationery, which was N5, to the value of 214 Rand. After stationery we had rent expense, which would have been N6 of 6,200 Rand. Then after rent expense we had the telephone account, which was N7, to a value of 1,890 Rand. And then we had insurance to the value of 800, well, it will be N8, and the amount was 830 Rand. Then we had salaries, which will be N9, and salaries was an amount or debit balance of 8,380 Rand. Now for every debit there must be a credit, and because of that my total of my debit side should equal my total of my credit side. So let's quickly total 344,200 Rand for my debit side. If I total my credit side, it will come to the same amount. If my debit side equals my credit side, I know I've done my trial balance correctly. I hope this was very helpful. Have a good day.